Nobody put it on the house.
What are they? Switching power meter. What do you mean? I don't like it. What are they?
Turn lights off and on other things from the computer.
And on one. Sound, am I good? No? Bonnie, testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're on.
Bill, do not touch any buttons.
They're not buttons, they're switches, and it's a black box, and it's all the lettering is in black, and the switch is in black, and it's not a very well designed. I like electronics where you can tell where the on-off button is, you can tell where the volume button is. They don't hide. They're just there, and you can get things done. Okay. For those of you who wanted to be logged into Wi-Fi when you're here, that's our login and the password for it. Everybody got that? I can switch to the next one. It's Apple Access, all lowercase.
What is GSM?
So if you had your laptop here and you wanted to connect to the internet, that's how you would do it.
Well, last two will be Lutheran Church, so the GS must apply
Yeah,
to
the church here.
GLS.
It's GL, yeah.
Okay, you notice that I've got all this weirdness going on with my laptop. What I've got is text edit running. I've got PowerPoint running. I've got Safari running, but I have them all running in separate windows. And with text edit, I've got the 3 text edit documents all in different windows. Now, there's a little button that most of your devices have, and it looks like little windows, 3 or 4 windows, and that's the show me my workspaces. So up here, we're looking at the regular desktop, which is the first one, and then you can see up there a little depiction of all the other workspaces that I have running. And I can switch between them by doing that.
What is that button called? You said it, funny little shape. What's it called?
The F4 key.
Mission Control is the name of the actual app.
Okay.
What were you doing?
Now there's, and this would be, if you've got a laptop, we're talking your F3. The F4 button does something a little bit different.
F3.
Let me get out of the...
You don't have it.
Not on this. He's got a MacBook.
The one that's next to it takes you to what's called the Launchpad.
You won't have one.
Launchpad. For those of you who have iPhones, mobile devices, iPads and such, this looks very much like the home screen. Okay, I don't expect you to use any of this stuff. I just wanted to explain what you're seeing as I'm working through all these things. So I've got it so that it's easier for me to walk through the different things. Alrighty. Let's go to agenda. Okay, now the meeting actually starts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's try it again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. Much better. Disclaimer, fall allergies are still killing me. I've got Zyrtec, sorry, whatever it is. I've got that in it. I've got cough drops. I can't hear very well. I'm having trouble breathing. I'm going to power through the meeting. Okay, so if you're asking questions or whatever, and I don't seem to be paying attention to you, wave your hand. We'll work through it. Okay. All right. So welcome to meeting number 273. We don't have Mike today, our membership chair. He's home sick.
The treasurer's not
Mark,
here either.
were you handling the welcome desk?
Yeah.
You were. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, one of our traditions is the dreaded welcome. So we have one visitor today, and that is Kevin Cook, and he's up in the front row. This is what we do. You're going to stand up, introduce yourself to the crowd, tell us what kind of things you do using Apple technology or other technologies, and what sort of things you want to learn how to do, but you don't know how to do.
Okay. Let's see, my name's Kevin Cook. I work at O'Neill & Associates. It's out in Centerville, Miamisburg. I'm in the illustration department there. We don't actually use Macs there at work. We're more of a Windows 10 right now. Mostly Macs is my personal home computer, and then what I learned when I was in school at Columbus College of Art and Design, I did worked a lot on Macs. We really didn't do the Windows and stuff. So we did Macs there, and then when I eventually transitioned into O'Neill and doing the art stuff there, it was expected to be in Macs, but I guess when they started there, they were Macs. They had some Macs, but eventually cheaper to transition to Windows and the whole PC world, so they went to the PC thing. So again, at work, I just work on the Windows environment. Let's see, hope to learn, just seeing what's changed. Being in a more kind of set in the same old groove, you don't really get to learn more, kind of stay up to date. I guess you just kind of do the same over and over groove, and as things change, I mean, you rarely have to do a lot of the new stuff. It just always kind of stays the same, so it's kind of neat to get to something where you can just kind of see how things have kind of moved forward, because I mean, usually, especially in the work environment, a lot of times, even when Windows 10 came out, you were still on Windows, 7? I don't know if we were on 7 before we went to 10, but it's always a slow upgrade. I mean, even with Illustrator and Photoshop that we mainly use, I mean, we were on CS5 forever and just finally went to CS6, and I think they still think, as far as company-wide, it's cheaper being on CS6 than paying that whole cloud subscription thing for a work environment. So we haven't even done the subscription-based CS stuff that we're doing now, so we're still in CS6. So I wouldn't even know the changes that's happening with Adobe now in that environment. So just getting a group to see the changes is
Interesting. I'm going to do my standard joke, which at the break, people will come up and say hello, all that. They won't borrow money.
okay, gotcha.
Did you notice what he was saying about how in a corporate environment, they don't necessarily embrace the latest and greatest technologies? It's not just done for budgetary considerations. It's called continuity of the business. Okay. There's nothing worse than you roll out a new suite, say Pork Express, Adobe, Creative Suite. Creative Suite actually doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, Adobe, whatever, and then all of a sudden you discover, oh, crap, we can't open our old files. We can't, So that's why most businesses tend to be very parsimonious in how they upgrade. And so it's not just you. So when I tell you, hey, you might not want to be running the latest and greatest yet, there's reasons for that. Because even though you're not running a business, you still have Okay, that's it.
We're awake.
You still have a continuity of business,
We're awake.
a continuity of activities that you need to.
Yeah, we're awake.
So the last thing you need is that unexpected surprise from your technology. Okay.
Hey, Bill, is that a good segue into Mac OS not upgrading?
I'm going to do it under the umbrella of, I'm going to actually follow the agenda. I stopped doing it this morning. I'm going to follow the agenda. Okay. So, hey, I did the disclaimer. We all know how I am when I've got decongestants in me. Okay, just be glad I didn't take Sudafed. I get very angry with Sudafed. Okay, so we're going to do news items. Before I open it up to the floor where people have items of interest that they want to share with the other folks, I just want to talk for a minute about the new operating system from Apple. It's for the notebooks and the desktop machines, which is Mac OS High Sierra. I don't recommend that people move to it. I would suggest that you wait at least 3 more months, so wait until next year. The reasons why are numerous. Okay. But I'll start out with the first one. Many of your programs that currently work just fine under Mac OS Sierra, El Capitan, Yosemite, yada yada, all the different operating systems, do not work well under High Sierra because those programs are 32-bit programs, and High Sierra only allows 64-bit programs. So small, inconsequential programs like Microsoft Office 2011, Microsoft Office 2008, many of the Adobe programs that are not Creative Cloud won't work properly with High Sierra. And from my perspective, most of the software tools I do to unkludge machines, which would be TechTool Pro, Drive Genius, Disk Warrior, Carbon Copy, actually Carbon Copy Cloner works with High Sierra. Super Duper has few little issues. They're probably going to have the update right away. Anyway, these things that are in my standard toolkit to fix machines don't work with High Sierra.
He's trying to turn it off.
Where's the
There's
off
some background
New
noise.
iOS.
Got a power button.
Jim, it's not.
This is a Samsung that he's having trouble turning it on.
Hey,
Jim,
it's not you. It's me. Yesterday I had one of these days where I leave the house, I get in the car, and I go, oh crap, my car keys are in the car. Or excuse me, are in the house. And so I went in and got them, and then I came back out and I went, oh crap, I left my bag in the car. 4 trips to get everything with me for the first time out, and I repeated it the second time.
Bill,
Yeah.
will it take too long to show folks how to figure out whether they got 32-bit apps or 64-bit apps? You know, to do it about?
I don't think it would take too long.
You want to show them?
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. High Sierra is 10 point what?
130.
13, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I want to show you 2 things. First thing I'm going to do is just zoom in here a little bit. Okay, so I went to About This Mac, the apple in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, About This Mac. It comes up with the, here we go. Comes up with that standard screen. And that's how you tell what you're running right now. So Sierra is Mac OS 10.12. High Sierra, remember what yesterday was? Friday the 13th? High Sierra is Mac OS 10.13. Okay? Now, if you've been around the Apple community for 30-something years like I have, there's just something about some of these machines that come out from Apple that have got a 3 in them, like the Apple 3. Anyway, so let me zoom back out. So what Mark wanted me to do was show you how you can tell whether a program is 32-bit. So what I'm doing here, real quick.
But you need 64 then, right?
Yeah, it's got to be a 64-bit program. I'm just making the icons big, so let's go find Microsoft Office. Okay, there's Microsoft Office folder. We'll click on Microsoft Word, and now I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit. And go down a little bit here. Okay.
You just clicked on the W? Normally it would open the app. You click on it.
Single click.
He did
No, I'm doing
the-
it. So
You right-clicked?
He did the command key.
Well, he didn't tell us what he did.
Go to systems report, go back to about this Mac,
About this man.
system report, down.
Down.
Okay. Oh.
And then
okay.
click, go to the left.
When
go
did
to
they take out the,
I don't know.
did they take it out when they went to Sierra?
And go to applications on the left, down.
Yeah.
Software applications.
Application.
That's the reason I asked him.
And it's gonna generate a read.
I don't know how many apps he's got on that.
I am running High Sierra.
It's pretty light, I got maybe 90.
Okay, now pull down the window, pull down the window a little bit, there you go. I go all the way to the right. Keep going, there you go. Now it tells you if it's 64-bit or not.
Okay, so if I sort them,
Right.
all right,
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't have
None
that
of those are 32-bit.
big of a font, of a application load. Man,
No,
I'm messed
some
up
of it
today.
is 32-bit.
Apologies, folks. So let's see, what is not 64-bit?
All of them are not.
Most of my little automator tools, my Canon printer utility, all
Now,
of my taking VHS tapes and converting them to DVDs.
have any
Let's
S's?
see,
Yeah,
iDVD server, Mac
sorted
Tracker
that
is
column.
not 32-bit. All of my Microsoft stuff is not 32-bit. Yeah, excuse me, it's not 64, not 64-bit. Yeah, basically about half the programs I've got on this are not 64-bit.
Is that Office 2011?
Yeah, 2011.
Because Office 2016 changed, it originally was 32-bit.
Yeah.
One of the updates changed it to 64-bit, so you need to make sure you are current on your
Yeah.
updates.
Next month's presentation is going to focus on what do you do if you want to run High Sierra and you know that Office 2011 is not going to do it for you. So there'll be alternatives to Office 2011, such as Office 365, LibreOffice, Apache, OpenOffice, those. Yep, go.
Okay, I've heard all this and I've gone through and looked at everything. I'm running Office 11, this is running on High Sierra, no problems. I just opened InDesign, says it's 32-bit CS6, no problems. I don't know where the problems are gonna come in, and I will tell you, this is a very good little laptop that tends to not have any
What year
trouble.
is it?
2013.
2013.
now, it won't be until 2018 where everything
I'm
goes
just saying.
64-bit.
So the next, one of the updates is gonna get me.
Yeah, the next, yeah, 2018, that's when 64-bit. There's still some 32-bit support.
Okay, because I know
Other
right
things
now
to
it's
keep
working.
into consideration, Microsoft has already said that their support and updates for
On
Office
2011
2011 end this month.
I'm aware.
Okay,
So no
And
more
that's why
updates?
this is the only experimental machine I've got on it. Nothing
Okay.
else is running High Sierra that I own.
Another thing to keep in mind with High Sierra, that doesn't have a Fusion drive in it, correct?
Oh, no, this is original
Okay.
Apple.
If you have a Fusion drive, now I'm not talking nuclear reactors, I'm talking about, you've got a storage hard drive in your iMac. And it's got the capability, some of the capabilities or attributes of a solid state drive and a traditional hard drive. Apple calls it Fusion drive. They put them in a lot of the iMacs. There are definite problems with Fusion drives and High Sierra.
They changed the file system.
Yeah. I do know, because I'm running a test system with High Sierra on. I do know that my go-to fixer apps will not run because they know they should not run. So it's sort of a preventative thing. So if I try and run Drive Genius 5, or I try to run Tech Tool Pro 9, the latest, it's going to say, you really don't want to do that on High Sierra because we haven't quite figured out, how we're going to do this stuff yet. Okay. So again, I'm not saying never install it. What I'm saying is just hold off a little while. Now, for those of you who have been around for a while, you've heard me say the same thing when the other ones have come out in the past. And if you really were around here for a long time, I said the same thing when we went from Mac OS 8.6 to Mac OS 9, and we were still using PowerPC computers, okay, before we were doing Unix. Let somebody else do the testing to see what's wrong. Another case in point, let me just go over to the other side with the mobile apps. iOS 11, which is the latest and greatest. Now that they've got the third update out, I'm telling people, go ahead, put it on your phone, your iPod, iPad, if they can run it.
11.0.3.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to go ahead and do that because iOS 11 has got some really neat features. It takes up less space than iOS 10 did. It's faster than iOS 10, and even on old devices, and it uses memory better. So they really did a lot of stuff under the hood to make it better. They also moved everything around again.
Yeah.
On iOS 11.
So just be aware that there will be a learning curve.
So he's
With
back on
that
this
said,
instead of the.
just a piece of advice, one of our supporters or vendors is Noteboom Tutorials. Okay, now Janet Bourne and I sing their praises. I'm going through their tutorials right now. And if you're a member of the club, you can get it for like half price. For like, I think, what, $29 a year?
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's automatically updated too.
So they've got, for iOS 11, I'm working through the tutorials they have out there. They got one which is just the best new features. Then they've got another one which is where they moved everything. Okay. And then they have another one where they go through the operating system, step by step, all the different apps, exactly how you do stuff. Noteboom, Noteboom.
Why don't you go to our webpage and show them?
They're really good tutorials.
And let me get to the vendor page. So if you go to our
Is it
website,
the App Store? You go to the App Store for it, or you have to buy it?
if you go to the App Store, you're going to be buying individual lessons.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the individual lessons are like $5, $6 each. I'd rather spend $30 and I've got a year's access to all their stuff. And Noteboom is, just scroll down here. Okay,
There they are.
so I'm doing a Command F, I'm typing in
$29.
Noteboom.
It's right at the bottom.
It's there.
Second one from the bottom.
Got it.
There it is. Noteboom Tutorials. And the URL is noteboomtutorials.com. Highly recommend it. This is how I quickly can get myself up to speed. Okay. So I'll leave that up for a while. Okay, while I leave that up, is there anybody else that has news they want to share with the members? Going once, going twice? Has anybody done a conversion from being Time Warner for their entertainment and internet to Spectrum? Okay.
Do I have it?
I can't get the Spectrum.
What sort of results, what sort of review would you give us?
Other than they no longer supported the cable modem I had purchased.
Okay. So they didn't give you a free modem?
Yes, they did,
Okay,
but I would have preferred to keep using mine.
okay. So is it a DOCSIS 3.1 modem, or is it just a DOCSIS 3?
Honestly, I did not look.
Okay.
They advertise, man, you can just get it on any piece of device you have. And
Yeah.
I tried to use I downloaded their app and tried to get Spectrum and look at a TV program. I couldn't.
Okay. Okay. Now, Mark, when you went
But
to
then I'm slow.
Spectrum, did you drop Earthlink?
No,
So you're still doing Earthlink as your internet provider?
no.
Through,
I have an email account through Earthlink.
okay,
Yeah.
And my ISP is still Time Warner or Spectrum.
okay, so on your bill it says Time Warner.
Now, I get billed directly from Earthlink once a year. I just make a a one payment of like $49
$49,
directly to
yeah.
Earthlink.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever shows up on my Spectrum
Okay.
bill.
Just one payment a year,
Yeah.
not every month.
No.
But they do charge you for internet, Spectrum does.
Yeah.
They got that price line for
That's
that.
not Earthlink, that's Spectrum.
Right, that's Spectrum's charge.
Okay, so for your internet, oh, you've got a bundle. You're doing the whole
With
thing.
Spectrum, right, through the,
So you're doing the
Earthlink.
phone, you're doing the entertainment, you're doing the internet, you're doing the Dayton Daily News, the,
no,
Yeah.
I dropped the Dayton Daily News print because they couldn't get delivery to me.
I just asked you.
Let's don't go there, right?
Okay. Anybody else going once, going twice? Yes?
I went on Spectrum, we have their email and internet
Okay.
table, and tried to delete the emails off the
Have you
server.
been able to get
Well,
it?
I go on, doesn't
You've
matter
been
what
able to
time
get
of
it on
day,
your
it knocks me
iPad?
off.
What do you
So I
mean?
called them,
Mhm.
and they explained they have so many servers, and we're on server E,
Mhm.
and they know there's a problem.
Okay.
That's it.
You already knew that.
But at least you know that they know.
They'll let me know in 2 weeks.
Okay. Anybody else? In terms of, yes, Ray.
I'm in the process of scanning or scoping out, let's put it that way. Things like Hulu, Netflix, subscribing to CBS.
Can you get downstairs, okay?
And I'm still going to have all the cable channels through Spectrum, but what I want to do is start getting rid of those things. And quite frankly, I'm quite happy with what's happening to me with what am I trying to say? I'm happy with the Apple TV and being able to go into Hulu and all those things. And my wife was fussing because she didn't get to record whatever, and it was too late, it was a couple of days later, and I thought, come on, not over to my set, and I just plugged it in, and she watched the show on CBS.
Okay.
I haven't gone to the commercial free,
Okay.
but their commercials are only 2 minutes long or something, so.
There's personal opinion. There's one drawback with the Apple TVs, and that they don't have Amazon Prime Video there yet. That app hasn't got
They
it.
will.
I know, they keep promising, but that's why I've got the Roku.
Well, when you did the demo on the radio, I'm leaning that direction.
And they're cheap enough, you could have one on one TV or one on the other. The thing I like best about the Roku, thinking about the remotes, big remote, big buttons, easy to find it, easy to use.
Last evening, I had to turn my lazy boy upside down to find my.
I can relate.
And it's my second remote because the first one got caught up. in
Just so you know, you're not the only one who's done that.
Okay.
Well, of course, in my case, I'm not turning your lazy boy upside down. I'm taking. All right, yes, George.
I read, this is a little bit of an aside, but I think it's relevant. I read in the paper that several of the communities around here are actually the government is sponsoring fiber optic connection throughout the area. Yeah, but
You just hit the Spectrum app.
one of the ones that's not apparently is Beaver Creek. Do you know anything about that?
You gotta have an account established.
The reason I would be interested in having fiber is that then I can certainly have planned bandwidth to download all these other TV and Apple TV and what have you. Right now, I don't have enough bandwidth to actually use them very well.
How much bandwidth do you have now?
1.5 meg.
Oh,
Spectrum.com. Yeah, okay.
it's like
Apparently you have to have that account.
Yeah.
To make it.
Okay, and you don't have, okay. So the question is, what's going on with fiber? The company that was promoting the fiber networks the most was Google and Verizon. Verizon being Fios, fiber, blah, 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 whatever. Google doing their thing. both of them had discovered that that the demand they thought there was there for their services weren't there, and they're both cutting back on putting more stuff in. The thing that I heard about deployment of fiber was specifically for a fiber network between the different governments in Montgomery County and Greene County.
Oh,
I didn't hear anything about for consumers.
Maybe I misunderstood.
And why Beaver Creek would not want to play with the others, I don't know.
But you could stream.
Beaver Creek doesn't know Ohio's an open carry state, apparently. The Walmart.
And you don't really need
Anyway.
fiber to stream higher. I mean, you could get just a faster speed internet. Just, I mean, regular Time Warner Spectrum. I mean, if you just up to the 30 megabits is probably their lowest or something now.
60 now.
If you're actually doing Spectrum internet, your lowest is 60.
Although it's the
Yeah.
60.
I'm an AT&T person.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what their lowest
If
is.
you're doing Time Warner within Spectrum, the standard package is 20 meg.
Oh, okay. But yeah, lower speed.
If you're down in Lebanon, Ohio,
Yeah, I do, I pay for it.
I've got friends down there that I visit every so often that were attached with fiber. It's like I'm downloading stuff, it's like I click the button and I go,
Spectrum took over
it's not
everything,
doing
was
anything.
60 megabits.
It's already
Downloaded 5 gigabit, 5.
Yeah.
And then I keep thinking, it's too far to drive down. Okay, everybody's got the thing about notes.
Bill, is that why AT&T is trying to switch it
I had
from
a guy come out from Spectrum, he tested
fiber
it and said,
to
coming out of my
DirecTV?
modem or my Wi-Fi. it
They
was
looked
close
at the
to
cost of doing new
60. So I
cable,
must be getting it.
and they just didn't see where they were gonna make that much money off of it, so by doing
Still
DirecTV,
bundled in the middle of it.
DirecTV, you're using dishes, talking to
Get
satellites.
the old
So
20.
you're not having to put all the fiber in the ground, you're not having to upgrade the other stuff.
Yeah, I went to the office.
You had brought up cord cutting, so we did that presentation a couple months ago about cord cutting, using these internet services for your entertainment. This is a serious, serious threat to the business model of some of these large corporations. So AT&T, even though they've cut this deal with DirecTV, et cetera, they're still seeing a faster adios rate than a faster, hey, sign me up rate for their entertainment services. So there's a net loss of customers there. So, yes?
What I got was DirecTV on my Roku,
Okay.
so that way I don't have a dish out in the backyard, I just have it on the Roku. And that way it's easier to use for me, and it's
There's all these different combinations of delivery packages. And it's like when you walk into the cell phone store and you say, can you explain to me all of the pricing plans that you have? And all of the different combinations and permutations. And you get this avalanche of ways that you can get stuff. But they don't tell you which one is sort of like better than the other. Or you end up in a situation, one of our members had, where they, by going to AT&T, you get an Apple TV that was free, and all devices are included except the Apple TV if you're using it for entertainment, in which case everything that was coming in, because this is, they're out in the boonies and they're doing this via cable, cell phone technology, every bit and byte up and down, ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay, and so they thought they had a way to do this entertainment through cellular without having that, but that particular type was excluded from the overall package. Okay, so it's in transition. It's in transition. But I encourage you, as those of you who are cord cutters, as you find out various things, to share that with the other members in the group. Okay, let's see. What else have we got in the way of major news? Going once, going twice.
Bill,
Yes?
I wanted to ask about these speeds, broadband speeds. I'm trying to figure out for my mom who lives out in the boonies, how to get better, faster internet. And she's currently using Verizon Jetpack. And I've talked to them, and I've talked to HughesNet, which we get information from all the time, and I'm trying to figure out if the HughesNet would be better. Evidently, she can get it where she is, but I haven't figured out the speeds.
Okay. If I understand correctly, and I may have it wrong, but that particular service from Verizon uses cell phone tower technology to bring internet into, and it's a different pricing than if you're using a regular cell phone.
Okay. I went in and we changed her from one program to another. Right now, they bought a new jetpack, and right now they're saying she has 4G for the first 15 megabits per second, and after that she goes to 3G. So I kind of watched that carefully, and from her billing date, we changed it just a couple days before her billing cycle. And within the first 10 days, I'd say 10, 11 days, we went through the 15, what is it?
Yeah,
Gigabytes
it's called a cap.
Okay.
You know, how much data you can pull in and send out. One of the reasons why Carol and I left AT&T is that they have a data cap. You're at a regular price until you go over that usage, and then they start charging you premium prices for everything else that comes in.
They're not charging us. We went to unlimited. Before we had 18, whatever the units were, gigabytes or megabytes. And then what happened was my brother messed with us.
What some companies do is, instead of doing a data cap, what they'll do is they'll slow it down. So you're still allowed to bring it in, but they switched you from the fire hose to the straw.
Yeah, that's what's happened. Instead of going over and paying extra, now we're unlimited, but real quickly dropping into very slow internet.
One of the things, if you're a Spectrum user and you're interested, if you log into your Spectrum account, you know, you're going into, you know, the Time Warner, I'm including the Time Warner people, you can go into where it says equipment in that and have it show you how much stuff you've brought into your house via the internet that month. Okay, and I just did that recently, you know, Thursday, and it was 426 gigabytes of data we had brought in so far this month.
What does that mean?
Okay, the data cap for AT&T was 20 gigabytes. Okay, so that reaffirmed my decision for us to move to Spectrum, and to use Time Warner at the time. Yes, Bill?
On HughesNet website, they go from 10 gigs to 50 gigs.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'll do it at
Well,
work.
that's better than
Super fast internet. It's good one.
Okay, so you just, if you pay more, you can get more.
Up to 50 gigabytes now. It used to be the satellite was just 10, but
Okay.
now it's up to 50.
And was my guess right that it's cell phone technology?
No,
No,
it's satellite.
It's satellite.
Oh, satellite, even
Yeah,
better.
satellite.
They put a dish on your house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like the price from what they told me was going to be $60 for this internet service, which I looked at her Verizon bill and it was only $20. So there's a $40 difference, but it sounds like you can get faster service.
Their plans, Sears says all plans with 25 megabits start at $50 a month.
50,
Yeah.
okay.
So
They
I'm
don't say
assuming-
which dishes they're using.
Pardon?
They're not saying what transmission technology.
No, I haven't gotten into that yet.
Okay,
If you want to get a price quote, you have to fill in your address and phone number.
okay, okay. I just wondered.
Just go to internet.hughesnet.com.
Getting the information, you gotta give them your mother's waist size.
Way back in
Everything
the
else,
dark
I'm right.
ages, before there was an internet, we're
Right.
talking the 1980s, there were these things called bulletin board systems. And there was a group of bulletin board systems called FidoNet, and they still exist. And what would happen is, if you're running a bulletin board system with your 100 phone lines coming into your house with your 100 modems, at a particular point in time in the evening, early morning, your bulletin board system would take all the stuff that people had sent into it, in terms of emails and that, and would then send it to the Dayton hub. So there was a Dayton bulletin board, FidoNet, that would receive this. And they'd be receiving it from the 450 bulletin boards that were in the Dayton area that belonged to FidoNet. Then they would package up all that stuff, and they would then send it up to the the state hub, which was over somewhere around Chillicothe. And then later on in the night, the Chillicothe would send it to the regional hub, which was North America. And then the North American, South American, Antarctic, Europe, Asia hubs would then toss their data back and forth to each other. So back in the 1980s, it was possible using FidoNet technology to be sending emails to people in the People's Republic of China or Japan, basically all around the world. Okay. The way we did that locally was using phone lines. But when it came time to bring stuff in to the central hub, we would use the satellite dish. So you've got 400 bulletin board operators kicking money into the pot to buy a satellite dish, which was in a hole in this guy's front yard. Okay. And they would adjust the aim of the satellite dish by, we'd come over as a group and we'd all get our little shovels and we'd nudge it. And there'd be somebody reading the signal inside. So the reason why I'm boring you with this long tale of trivia is to just impress upon you one more time just how far this technology has come. It truly is mind-blowing. How many of you saw the keynote that was in October, the Apple keynote? Okay. So they're doing a little whiz-bang thing about the Apple Watch that now has cell phone technology built into it. Dick Tracy, cell phone technology. Okay. And the presenter on the stage of the Steve Jobs Theater is talking with his watch to this person who's out in the middle of some lake in California paddleboarding. Okay? Now, she was not mic'd. They're using the microphone that's on that Apple Watch. He's using the microphone that's on the Apple Watch. She's in the middle of a lake. She's paddling at the same time she's talking. The microphone's on her wrist, and it was clearer than me holding my old AT&T telephone.
Hope it's waterproof.
But that gives you an idea of just how far their audio and video technology has come. That they're able to pick that stuff up.
Impressive.
Now that's the good part. And here's the nightmare part. How many of you have an iMac or a MacBook? And it's got the little camera in the front and the little microphone in the front. How many of you have a smart TV that's got a microphone in it? Yeah, they can be listening now. And you don't have to necessarily be in the room.
Can't be
with
looking. I put tape over all the...
Okay. Now, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying that the possibility is there. The capability is there.
Who's they?
Who's that?
I'm not sure how to disable the microphone, though.
Corporate.
Okay. There's a joke that SIS, which is a British intelligence service, the reason why they meet in person and they use handwritten notes and they do the old office email, not email, office mail.
Distribution.
You know, the envelopes with the holes in them? Okay. It's because there's no way they can be certain that the NSA isn't reading their emails and their other stuff. Yes, Kathy?
Mattel got sued because their toys had the cameras in and was able to watch everything from the families. They were doing this stuff. So Mattel got sued big time for that, and they had to take that technology out.
Yeah. Quite a few of the baby monitoring things that are there, and there's webcams, et cetera, they're not necessarily secured as well as they should be, and or they're made in China. Okay. So, you've got that whole problem. Those of us who were in network engineers and that, about 10 years ago, there was a big kerfuffle about Cisco equipment that was counterfeit. It worked fine. The problem was it wasn't from Cisco. Yeah, and it was from other national entities being able to tap into your networks and that. And that's a bad thing. Okay. So, and if you want to know why that's a bad thing, one word, Equifax. Okay.
It's easy to put tape over the camera thing, which I've done at home with my Mac and iMac, but how do you handle the microphone?
You just close it for a while, 3 years ago.
Post-it note, first of all, post-it note, not tape, post-it note. I own 3M stock, post-it note.
Let's get to the point.
In terms of microphones, that's where you really get into a strange situation. The way I personally handle it is I do not deploy smart TVs in my house. I do not deploy the new home electronics. I'm trying to think. Amazon Echo, the one that's from Google.
Alexa.
Order more soap.
I thought you meant the microphone in your MacBook or iMac would be picking up
There really
stuff.
is no way for you to know that it's not working unless you have the device turned off completely.
Unplugged.
Turn it off.
Unplugged, not just
Unplugged.
turned off.
And not on the network.
Unplugged.
You mean the whole
Unplugged.
computer
Are we in help
unplugged,
desk
Jim?
now?
Yes.
Are we in help desk?
I think we gotta, let's transition to help desk. Okay, anybody have any problems?
Everybody does.
We're gonna, see, you should have sat up front, right? We'll start with.
Okay, we have a whole bunch of old photo albums that my wife would like to get rid of if we can take pictures of the pages. Can anybody recommend a good app? Like just take it from our iPhone or a camera and put it in, make it digital, basically. Is there a
How
good app?
good of a quality do you want?
Don't need it to be great, just decent enough so they're clear.
That sounds like a scanner job.
Yeah.
You don't want
It'd
to
be
do,
so much easier just to.
you don't want to do scanners. I would just use your camera in your phone.
Uh-huh.
But I would cheat a little bit. What I would do is I'd create, I'm cheating. Instead of buying a stand to hold the phone, I'd have, set down the photograph, have it on a white background,
Took care of my,
and then create just a little stand to hold the phone so it's at just the right height. So you don't have to hold the phone and press the button, you can just position it, make sure everything is right, boom, and then you slide the next photo in. And
Actually, we'd kind of like to do the whole page of the album because there's writing and everything. We want to get
shells.
You
I
just
same
move,
thing, just
you
make
move the
it
phone
bigger.
up a little
Okay.
bit farther
So
away.
there's no
you can-
special app that
You
you would
actually took
recommend, just
pictures.
do it
No.
with the
Photo
phone?
albums.
Okay.
Bill,
Now, if you want to take photos and make them look like they're artwork, they were painted, I've got a couple that are. Yes.
would you use the newest iPhone to do that? Because they say the camera's better, at least I read the camera was better in the newer.
Every
iPhone.
time they come out with a new phone,
Yeah, I
their
know.
camera is better than the one before.
But I'm wondering, is it worth it maybe for him to find someone that has one and then go click, click, click with someone else's phone that's really good? Or- I don't know, I just asking, is it worth, when you're trying to record memories, to have, to try to get the newest iPhone?
No.
Does it make any difference? Yeah.
Now, there's other ways of doing it. There are companies like Memory Box, where you put all the albums, photo albums, in the box, or your negatives, or your 35 millimeter slides, and you ship it off, and they digitize them all.
I
Was
had
it you
done
that told me about
at
Costco?
Yeah, it's great.
Costco has a great service if you got 35 millimeter slides.
I did several thousand.
And I've got another customer who used them, and wow, they're really happy.
I've got all sorts of DVDs that I can give.
So
And
that's another
all
way.
the slides are,
But do
Get
they
rid
do
of the
photo
big
albums?
screen and the carousel and
Yeah.
all that, and boxes of 35 millimeter slides.
plus the light bulbs that,
Yeah,
But do they do photo albums at Costco?
Memory
I
Box
don't-
does. Costco, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so, no.
Okay.
And when you do your pictures, don't use your zoom, because most phones, that's a digital zoom, it's not the actual, resolution and stuff.
Okay,
So if you.
don't use the zoom.
Yeah, don't use the zoom, because
Yeah,
that'll make
granulation.
it worse pictures. Stay
Pixelation.
zoomed all the way out, because after the picture, you can always zoom in if you needed to, or crop it and do all that.
Okay.
Don't zoom in.
Thank you. I wondered, because I was getting at, other times, the pictures just were as clear as they were, so I probably used the zoom.
Yeah, because I mean, that's what,
And there's some other little tricks, if you, do we have anybody here to eBay stuff? Okay, I don't do any eBayers. Okay, the people I know that do a lot of stuff on eBay, they have a little thing already set up, they call it a light box or a white box, where it's a white background behind, underneath, and on one side, and the lighting is absolutely perfect, and then they just pop the item in, pop the next one, pop the next one in, so that you don't have this constant, okay, I'm trying to get the camera just right, it's already set up. So if you're going to do a lot of them, something you might think about. Yes,
Good.
Mr. Ward.
I just did a quick search, and there's an app on iTunes that is Photo Scanner by PhotoMyne, FHOTOMYNE, that will let you just shoot the picture. It automatically will crop them for you, and it does all of that. So it's a $5 application. So
It's in the App Store?
yeah,
Great, thanks. And it's
called Photo Scanner.
Photo Scanner, okay.
It's only
thanks.
$5.
You don't want to just use the scanner you already got on the, you got so many printers.
I know.
You got the- okay.
We won't go there.
Okay.
Of course,
This
you
is
can
the
always hold the
drawback if
camera.
you let me in your house.
Once he
That
gets
won't
the
be
right
last time,
distance,
I'm afraid.
once he gets the right distance, he should set a tripod for the camera.
That's, that's.
Sam's Club for the last few years has been sending all slides to California.
Okay.
They don't do it locally.
No. I think Costco might go there too, I'm not sure where, but.
Now, there
The
is an
results are
outfit
good.
local up in Huber Heights, but they want 82 cents a slide.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I asked him why they were so much, and he said, because I don't like to do it.
Good enough reason.
So why do you have a?
He'll also digitize phonograph records, $5 a record. $5
Audacity.
No, excuse me, $5 a side.
Ooh.
So it ends up $10 a record.
Audacity.
All right, let me see, I took care of you, let me go to Rod, then I'll go to George.
Mine's a simple question. I'm in the process. My wife's phone is loaded with 1,700 plus photographs. It says her cloud is full, and now that I found my admin password, which I couldn't find, that's another story. Couldn't read my own writing. I'm in the process of making that transfer to put them on a memory stick.
Okay.
Has anybody done that? Are there any pitfalls that I need to be aware of as I take my Droid phone and transfer them
Now,
onto?
you were downloading an Android app to her phone, correct?
Yeah, I
To
was in the
interface to
I
the
was in the
computer?
process of doing that when I all of a sudden went,
Okay, so you haven't done that yet?
yeah.
I'd be interested to see, I mean, for like my iPhone, when I plug it in and I bring up photos, there's just, my phone shows up at the top and it's straightforward. You just pull them right off.
Mine has a.
What's the purpose of the Android app? To allow you to plug it into your other computer?
To allow me to plug my phone into the back of my iMac.
Okay, and then suck
And
the,
then pull everything in, and then basically go up into the cloud and.
yeah, hit those, making copies, and then you delete them from the phone and the cloud so that, okay, I got you.
Are there any pitfalls? Gary? Okay.
You can suck them out of your phone, into your computer.
You're
Um,
thinking.
What if you have a smartphone, a Samsung?
I usually don't bring
Yeah, I
them
do
all
too.
in at once. I'll bring them in a group at a time. Typically, a phone will have them organized. There'll be some sort of organizational structure on the phone.
It's a special
So
interface.
what I'll do is I'll bring in like 1 year at a time.
See,
So that, and then put them in a folder so that I've already got them sort of organized. Instead of having them just, how many photos? 1,700?
1,700 plus.
Okay, 1,700 plus, boom, and they're in one folder, and I'm, no organization, and every time I go into the folder to organize them, I go, 1,700 photos, I don't think I can handle this today, which means it never gets done.
Yeah.
So if you do them, it's like eating an elephant.
$10 a month.
You cut one
And I get all
steak,
the texting,
turn your
phone
back to the
calling.
carcass and invite friends over, cook it, eat it, and then you go get the next lunch.
I just don't do it.
We're gonna do George.
Just want to make a quick statement. Had a problem with my iPad.
I get my
Okay.
emails on my
Went to the
computers.
help desk, Mark and I went back and forth a couple times, and we got the problem solved.
I noticed you get
Thanks.
your email on your iPhone. because You've answered me before from your iPhone.
Random thought just flew through my head. Two thoughts running opposite directions. The first one is, I've got this little 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it's got lines on it, it's got a structure on it, that I give to customers for them to write down important information about their computer stuff. Okay? And do you think something like that would be a nice handout for the group?
Mail, using the mail app on
Mark said it goes electronic.
It's sort of like when you start to do estate planning.
Yeah.
You know, they give you the form, and you start filling it out, and then you start going like, oh, wait, but I got this, and I got this.
Put everything on.
So it's sort of a tool to get you to start collecting and documenting the things you should have. Like if, let's say, you've got a new device and you want to connect it to your Wi-Fi at home, what is your Wi-Fi password? If you want to suck photos from a phone into your iMac, what is your admin password on your iMac? Things like, what is your email password? Because some people have them saved, so it's like phone numbers in the cell phone, they're just saved, and you don't punch the numbers in, so you don't have them in your head at all.
Refreshing.
Yeah. So anyway, but do you think that might be a good thing to do?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, I'll put that down. The other thing is, PIN numbers for mobile devices and cell phones and all that good stuff. Those are all good things.
Word document.
Okay, the other thing that rolled through my head, rolled back out, and it'll come back in a while and I'll ask you about it. Okay, moving on, help desk, anybody else? Yes?
I have a problem with my computer. Somehow Advanced Map Cleaner got installed on my computer. How do I get rid of it?
Okay. That is what I call scamware. Okay, it doesn't really do anything of benefit to you, but it does allow other stuff to get onto your computer. So it's like the spyware, the adware, all that kind of stuff. Okay. There is a program that will quickly remove that. It's not a normal commercial program. It's done by an individual. So let me just real quick here. Let's get that back up where it was. And let me get this back over here. Get over here. And let's see if I got it on my flash drive. You're not running High Sierra, correct?
Right.
Okay, because this doesn't work with High Sierra. And here we go. Here's the program. Let me switch to icon view and let me crank up the size of the icons. This is not a, let's see, how should I put it? This is a powerful program. So you can really screw stuff up by mistake. It's called DetectX.app. It is not from the Apple Store. I'm going to launch it here real quick.
Detect X what, I'm sorry?
And, yeah, it's DetectX.app. Here, I'll zoom in and scroll over. DetectX.apt. Now I'm going to zoom out, get over to the program, and I'm going to give you the website. Just remember right here. And there's a new update. I'll say skip the update. And let me get to about, okay, too small. Now, let me visit their website.
Was that APT as in Tango or P as in Papa?
Okay.
T is in Tango.
DETEC.
The name of the program is Detect X. The website and the company is SQWARQ. Okay. I do not know this individual. I do know that I have not decompiled, but I have looked at the innards of previous versions of this, and it was a benign program. It wasn't like some of the PC ones where it's free, you know, system fixer, it's free, you put it on your PC running Windows 10, and all of a sudden you've got all these toolbars, and your internet isn't working quite right, et cetera, et cetera. This is not one of those. The website, as I said, is sqwarq.com. The program is DetectX. I'll show you how it works. And it's one of these things, it's not commercial, but he does accept donations. Let me get,
I do too, by the way.
okay, so I would say, yeah, thanks for trying. Okay, not yet. And it's a really funky interface. So let me zoom in here just a little bit so you can sort of see what it looks like. So you get it started. Number one, where it says see hidden files, don't click on that. Okay, so you basically just tell it to search, and then it looks at your computer and it shows you all the things that it thinks it should remove. All right, now,
Clean my Mac.
there is a bogus program that's called Mac Cleaner, Cleaner Mac. It's different from the people from MacPaw, which is Clean My Mac. So this is showing all of the Clean My Mac stuff. So if you've got Clean My Mac, you're going to have to reinstall after this thing runs. But it will basically go in there, it looks for rootkits, it looks for all sorts of stuff, and then you basically tell it to...
Bill, it hasn't deleted anything yet, right?
Yeah.
As soon as
What you
hit
do is...
Trash all?
Yeah, you do the trash all,
Okay.
you select all, you tell it trash
So
all.
you can run it, it's not gonna take anything off until after you say trash.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Doesn't
But
let
if
you
you've got
selectively
MacKeeper
delete.
on your machine somehow, some way,
Right.
okay, which is, MacKeeper and the one you mentioned are from the same bad people in Russia.
What was the other one's name?
Say again, please.
What was the other one? Yeah, MacKeeper, what's the other name?
Advanced Mac.
Advanced Mac Cleaner, I mean, they change it, as soon as people realize, oh, that's not good stuff, they'll change their name slightly and it ends up on your computer. The thing that I really don't like about MacKeeper is they're able to get into your machine and actually do stuff on it. Okay, that's not good. Okay. And just to you, it has happened to me. I'm in a hurry, I'm downloading something, bump, bump, bump. I click on the wrong thing on the website, and all of a sudden I've got this thing unloaded instead of this other thing that I wanted. Rule of thumb, if you're on a site and there's more than one download button on that web page, just go someplace else to get your stuff. And I'm including CNET. You'll bring up CNET, and they've got downloads for Macs or PCs, and you go to the download page, and you go like, how many download buttons can you give me? Only one of them is the real one. All the other ones bring something you don't want on your computer. Cap knows what I'm talking about when he was running his PC, because that happened to him a couple times. Okay, where are we doing for time?
7 after
11:06. Okay. So we close out of this thing, let me zoom back down. Where are we at? Anybody else? Everybody's brain is full? Going once, going twice?
I have a problem, but it's 7 after 11, so I don't want to miss out on
Okay.
iOS 11.
Alton wants me to keep to the schedule. Mussolini wants to turn this around. Okay, I hear you.
That gives them a free.
All right, anybody else going once, going twice?
Consultation,
Then it's
doesn't
going to be raffle time.
I'll bring my problem up the next.
Please be seated. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Elton was right. I was running over way too much.
It's the drugs.
Say that again, please. Elton was right.
Wait a minute, I gotta turn the camera off, I don't wanna record that.
But he's so accommodation. Answering our questions.
I saw that.
Thank you. All right, we're going to expedite this. First, what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. Phyllis Barker had sent me a critique of how I did MacScan last month, and she said what I should have done was do the executive summary right at the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to do the executive summary for iOS 11 right at the beginning. Okay. The hype from Apple, giant step for the iPhone, monumental leap for the iPad, it's real, okay? So, all of the negatives I tell you about macOS High Sierra do not apply to iOS 11. iOS 11, I won't say it's the best thing since sliced bread, but it's pretty close. It makes the devices that it runs on work better. Okay, so it takes up less space on your phone or your iPad. It does not slow it down. They've done some very nice things in it. Now, there's no way I can do a presentation about all the features of iOS 11 today. 2 reasons. 1, I don't know all the features in iOS 11. And 2, the features that I do know would take me about 5 hours to go through. Not even going into details. Okay. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to focus on just a couple. The revised control center, the new dock that's in iOS 11, the multitasking, the QuickType keyboard, and the Files app. Now, I know that you are an inquisitive, curious bunch of people, and I admire you for the way that you want to bring in these things. So there's going to be some supplemental materials that will be in the mailing to the members. So I've got these devices. First one is about the App Store guide. They have redone the iOS App Store, and I can't decide whether they really screwed the pooch on it, or maybe it's just me. I don't grok what they're doing. But let me just say that they've really changed how the App Store works. So I've got a PDF that'll be in the mailing that'll tell you about that. Another one that talks about the control center in more detail, the dock and multitasking in much more detail, the Files app, QuickType keyboard, and then an overall review of iOS 11, where they talk about some of the even more interesting features, such as it'll know that you're driving your car, so it will automatically not disturb you while you're driving your car.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's already worked for my wife. It just sends an automatic message. Call you later or something.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Mine won't update to the 11.
It will or it won't?
It will.
If it doesn't, then it shouldn't. Okay?
It won't, probably because it's 5. It's only.
Yeah, I think you have to be iPhone 6 and above, if I remember correctly. And you've got to be at least an iPad 3 or iPad Air 2 for it to take it.
Yeah,
Okay.
mine's a 5, so it won't do it.
Okay.
Bill,
Yeah.
can it tell the difference between a driver and a passenger in the car?
No.
You have to tell it
You tell it whether you want your phone to stop.
But if you're driving and your passenger gets, is getting some sort of dramatic message, phone call, whatever, wouldn't you rather have quiet while you're driving?
No.
Instead of them having...
That's why the radio's turned on.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so let me just bounce out of the presentation for just a second, just so you can see what these documents look like. You know, they've got big words, they've got pictures, large text, and most of them come from fairly reputable sources such as Macworld, PC World,
So they'll be.
Mac Rumors. There's a couple of different sites that I pulled them from. What's nice about these is that they all have verbal directions on how to do various things, which in conjunction to the videos, if you go onto the Apple website, iOS 11, where you're looking at all the marketing materials, if you click the, tell me more, they have little videos where they show you how this stuff works. So combine those two together and you should be good to go. So with that said, back to the presentation. So let's talk about the control center first. Now, in iOS 10, you take your finger on the bottom of your screen of your mobile device and you pull it up and it would come up to the control center. And you'd find that there were 3 or 4 different panes of the control center. So some of your sound controls would be here and your camera, whatever is here. They were all in different windows, different little panes. They've made the control center to be one place coming up. It just seemed to me that whenever I would bring the control center up in iOS 10, it was always I wanted to turn down the music volume, and then I'd have to go flipping back and forth until I found the control for that. Now they've got it all in one. And if you go into your settings to where control center is, you can modify this to what you want to have on it. So these are the basic controls that are there. First, you've got your airplane control. So, you're on the airplane. They say, please turn off your cell phone, electronic devices, otherwise we're all going to crash and burn. Okay. You can finger on the bottom of the screen, pull up. This will come up. You tap on the airplane. It turns off your Bluetooth, your cell, your Wi-Fi. Okay. Tap it again, turns that off, and those things come back on. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and if you want to do AirDrop. Over here you can put your own things up. In this case, this is a play or pause for the music that you've got going, or audiobook. 30 seconds back, 30 seconds forward. Brightness control, volume control. Do you want to turn on the night light settings? Do you want to lock the screen in a particular orientation or not lock it? You move the iPad around. You're watching a movie, okay? And you've got the iPad and you're sitting up and you're holding it. Then you decide, a couple margaritas would be good. Maybe play out in the backyard with a lounger. And as you turn your iPad to match your orientation, you discover it flips around. Well, you can lock that. And again, all in one spot, just tap it, boom. Screen mirroring, hypothetical situation, you've got this huge big screen TV, and you got an Apple TV hooked up to it. and you're looking at something on your iPad, maybe a YouTube channel or whatever, you go, it'd be so much nicer if I could see it up on the big screen. That's what screen mirroring is all about. You tap that, it shows you what airports are around. Airport being in the Apple airport, Apple TV, excuse me, misspoke. Tap that, and then you can put it on the big screen TV. Don't do it while your wife is watching The Price is Right. Or pick the right TV. Okay. Again, this is the brightness control, sound control, timer, your battery charge, maps, and you can configure this to what you want to have. Light, if you've got the iPhone, where it's got the light, you can use it as a flashlight, camera, and you can turn stuff on, turn stuff on and off. The home would be for your HomeKit apps. Yes, John?
Oh, what's the little car thing on there?
That's the do not disturb while driving function.
Oh,
Okay. Now, over here, you're not going to see that when you bring the control panel up. This is if you're in settings. So these are the settings controls to configure the control panel. I put them in one screen because that way just easier. And also like wallet, okay. If I click the minus, it takes the wallet off of the control panel. Okay. In other words, you can have just what you want on that control panel, that control center.
Bill,
Now, yeah.
I just found out something. In the
Yeah.
quadrant up there where the airplane mode is,
Yeah.
if you push and hold one of those buttons, another screen will pop up.
Okay.
And in that screen is where the airdrop, where you can change the airdrop.
Ah. Under this one?
You can push any of the four.
Any of the four?
And
Hold it.
hold it, and another window will pop up.
Yeah. As Gorbachev said, trust but verify.
Oh, the text size adjusting is really nice.
Yeah, I see. You're right. Okay. All right, going to the next screen.
Which one did you hold on?
Any one of those four buttons.
Oh,
Yeah.
four. Oh, okay.
For doing air.
Push and hold it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Okay.
Disconnected.
If you're using a mobile device and you double tap the home button, this is what you would see now. Your dock, which has changed significantly, each of these windows here, and you can go flipping back and forth, is all of the programs that are up and running, and here's that control center showing up.
So how did you do that?
What are the apps on the bottom? The ones that you have opened? or
This
what?
is the dock. The dock has changed. Okay? The stuff that you've used recently will show up over here. On this side of the dock are the programs that you said you want to have on the dock all the time.
I see.
So it's very much like on a Mac.
Like a
where you
Mac.
got, yeah,
Put
okay.
them on the dock if you want them.
These windows are the actual miniaturized windows for all the programs that you have running. So at this particular time, I had Slack running, and I had Scrivener running, and Safari, and Screens. If I tap one of those, that comes up to the top. Okay. Now, the dock in iOS 11.
Now, Bill, you're showing a control panel for an iPad.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going to
an
look
iPad.
different
Yeah.
on an iPhone.
iPhone significantly different. Okay. When you bring up an iPhone, it's just going to be the control panel. Okay. Now again, I'm not doing a demo showing you every individual thing. Just let you know what sort of basic concepts they have. Next thing. You can have two apps showing up on the screen at the same time. Two apps showing up at the same time. Let's say I just had Safari up. Pretend Notes isn't there. I saw in my presentation, I made a mistake. I put the same screen up twice. So pretend you just have Safari up here. The dock is hidden away. When you pull up, the dock comes up. Okay? Now, if I press and hold one of these and I drag it off to the right or off to the left, then I get a split screen with one program on one side and one program on the other. So in this particular instance, I've got email over here, and I've got notes coming up over here. So you're getting ready to send an email. The information you want to send to the person is over in notes. What we used to do is, okay, tap here, go to home, tap this, press and hold, copy, paste, etc. Now you can have them in the same screen and be able to drag and drop the content.
But again, only on the iPad,
The iPad has enough space. The iPhone doesn't have enough space for that.
So once you drag, how do you get rid of the
Yeah.
second one?
How do you get rid of it? That's what I was looking at. I've got it up there, but how do I get
Okay.
change?
Pull up all the way, or double tap your home button, and you can, at that point, say which one you want to pull off of the screen.
Oh, it brings me back to the four
Yeah.
things. When I double tap the home, it just brings me back to the control center.
Turn off one of the ones.
Okay. Well, I guess.
You can also drag, pull them back down to the dock. That'll also say, hey, I don't want to be doing the split screen anymore. What I would say is, Janet,
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
read the document that
I
I
will.
put with it.
Well, with my eyes, I love to hear rather than read,
Okay.
but I will do that.
Or watch the video that
Okay.
Apple's got on it,
Yeah,
because
I
they
will.
show you exactly how to do and undo.
Yeah, okay, I will. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Bill, I didn't mean to interrupt.
The basic thing is that the dock has changed. The dock has changed. So where we used to just put our favorite things down here, now we can sort of rethink that, because the dock can be brought up in any app and we can see what has most recently been used. And again, you know, they changed this stuff. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to use it yet.
That just closes
So here we're seeing that screen. Notice the dock is hidden because I pulled it back down. So now you've just got your mail program there, notes there. You can be doing stuff back and forth. Some apps don't allow you to have them up with something else. Some apps, they want to have the whole screen to themselves.
I might have missed it, but what was the step you took to get both windows open
Okay.
from just having a single window open? How did you go? Make them both get up there?
Okay. Pretend that notes isn't there.
Okay,
Okay, it's just a mail there.
okay.
All right, you pull up from your,
Bottom, huh?
yeah, or you double tap, you can do that, you pull up, and then, I apologize, I am just fumble fingering stuff, okay, I'm not gonna try and do it with the screen.
You drag it.
You, from the, you bring it up to the left or the right, depending on which side you want it to be on. So like, you've got it in the dock, you drag it over to
Drag
the
it,
side,
let go.
and then it goes, oh, like little boys in a church pew, nudge over,
I see,
and then
okay.
they're
You just
next
Drag
to
it
each
and
other.
drop.
Yeah.
drag it and let go. Yeah, it works. And then I just pushed it to the side, all the way to the side, and it was gone.
Yeah.
I just took the thing.
Okay. Another feature which is really nice for some of us is the QuickType keyboard.
I want to see, how did you?
So you've got this keyboard, and then there'll be the regular letters that are in black, and then there'll be above them, and you can't really see it in this slide, but there'll be another little letter or number above it. Okay? So if you pull down, on that key, you get that other alternative thing. So you've got your alphabet up, but you want to put a number in, okay? So above this line over here, you've got the exclamation point, number 1, number 2. So you pull down, and then it puts in that number. Puts in that character.
Oh, it works, it's beautiful.
Yeah. You don't want to pull up like we used to. You know, we had the...
Why would I want to do that? I don't want to put a number in there on my regular.
Well, you don't have to go to the other keyboard and back and forth.
If you're putting in a password or
All
something,
you
it
gotta
really
do is
makes
hit
it a lot
one
simpler
button on the
because
bottom and
yeah,
you're
you
back
don't
to the
have
other
to
keyboard.
switch, you don't
Yeah,
have to go
but
to
this
the
way you
numbers
just
and then
do
back to the,
two,
In other words, to get a
A
number.
feature that was put into iOS
Numbers
9
button,
and
and then
continues
hit
to
the number,
today
and
is
go
if you
back.
put your
Then go
finger
back to
on
letters, so that's
the
3 strokes
exclamation
instead of 1.
key
I see.
and you pull up, it'll give you the single quote, and if you do it on the
I gotcha.
question mark, it'll give you the double quote.
Wonder how long.
So I got used to flicking up with it. To use this, you want to click it down. You want to do the opposite direction of what you were doing.
I've got 2
Where we at?
I hold 3.
And let's see, different symbols, shaded gray, okay. The ones that'll show up if you pull down are in that apple light gray that's really hard to read. The regular ones are just there. Another feature that they've done in the QuickType keyboard is, how many of you are touch typists? Yeah, okay. Do you find iPads incredibly annoying, or phones, because as soon as you touch the key? QuickType keyboard will recognize if you've placed your fingers on the keyboard, and then will only respond as you actually move them and touch.
Put a little pressure.
Then I'm going to go to the one which just surprised me the most.
Files app.
There is a new app in iOS 11 called Files. Files.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, the significant difference between operating a Macintosh computer and operating an Apple mobile device always was, on the Macintosh computer, you use Finder to find the document, and you open it. On mobile devices, you say to yourself, what program owns the document? And you open the app, and then it allows you to open its documents.
Yeah.
Files, for all intents and purposes, is Finder for the mobile devices. With one little extra thing. It'll show you the files, the documents that you have recently used on your iPad, that are on your iPad. It will also show you the files that are in iCloud Drive. Now, on this particular screen, I've just tapped on the File app. It comes up and it says, oh, I have documents on the desktop. So that would be the desktop of my Mac at home that's also in iCloud. Documents on my Mac that are also in iCloud. Keynote documents, numbered documents, pages documents. So it's showing me the programs that would have files that it's allowed to talk to. Then you tap on that, and you see something like this. So I tapped on, we're in Pages. And these are all Pages documents that I have.
How did you get?
Some are on my iPad, and some are in the iCloud Drive.
They were on your Mac.
And if I tap the ones that are in the iCloud Drive, it brings it into the Mac, into the device, and then I can do stuff with it.
Where is Files originally to get to Files?
Okay.
I missed that. Whoops, wait, let me just. Click type keyboard. See where it is.
Let me get to that.
The Control Center? All right.
Okay.
I'm at the Control Center.
It's the dock.
It's the dock.
It's the one that looks like a folder.
It's like a file folder.
Oh, I see it. Thank you.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So when you tap on that, now all of this assumes that the app that you're using on your mobile device is file compatible, and/or you're using iCloud Drive and you have documents that are in iCloud Drive.
Can I get Dropbox to show up in there?
Yes.
The answer is yes, and the way you get there, if I remember correctly, is the browse feature. So there's another thing down here where it's browse. So that lets you look through the other things that you've got on your mobile device, and it'll let you, if I remember correctly, add Dropbox up in there, Google Drive. I'm not sure if they do Amazon Drive, because they're still fighting.
Google Drive doesn't even work right.
Yeah, well, okay. Anyway, but the thing is, it's Finder for your mobile devices. Okay. With that said, it's a neat feature. It's early days. They're watching how we use them, and they're going to be modifying them to make them less kludgy in the future.
Interesting.
Okay, but for those of you who have always had trouble on the mobile devices because you want to say, no, I don't want to open Pages, I want to open that document that's there. You know, not say Pages and then say, hey, oh, Pages, open this. This would be the way to go. And I'm going to say, you know, I think I'm going to just open it up to questions. We'll do whatever else we want to do for the last 15 minutes of the live.
Sure.
Okay.
Bill, basically what you were saying about iPads, it's going to be different for an iPhone.
It's going to be slightly different on an iPhone. iPhone has a file app. Okay? It's just going to be doing it on a smaller screen.
Have you downloaded 11 to your devices already?
Okay.
Do you find your
Chuck,
battery
Does
problem?
notes go into files programs?
Say it again.
Does notes go into files
Only
programs?
if you've told the Notes program on your other devices that they're allowed to save in iCloud Drive, or you've told your mobile devices that they're allowed to save in iCloud
Let's
Drive.
go to the cloud.
Yeah. Or they're already on the device. They've got it. The problem is the screen's so small, I don't have a finger that's small enough to.
So it's modified or
They've got it where it's scrunched in. Yeah, what happens is some of the buttons that they have only appear if you put your finger in the magic spot. You know how they hide stuff on the iPhones? Because it's limited real estate. Yes?
If I don't use iCloud, can I get rid of files in Dropbox? I mean, can I just take them off my phone?
You can
and
take
save
Dropbox
space?
off. Files is one of those programs you can't take off of iOS 11. It's got to be there.
All right, and right now, my home button just goes to where I would have to take care of my lights going on and off and that kind of thing. That's the only thing that's in my current home.
Correct. It's
Okay.
HomeKit, yeah.
But when I do the last update, it will change that home to more than just home maintenance.
No, it's meant just to be the devices that you've configured with HomeKit.
With your home, okay.
Yeah.
So can I get rid of that too, since I don't do that?
That Apple will let you remove from your mobile device.
Okay.
Take the home button. I did too, because I kept hitting home. It's like, I'm used to the Garmin's where, you know, you get in the
Yeah.
car, you turn the engine, you hit the home button.
Yeah.
I kept hitting home and it, you know, double click with the heels, just didn't get me.
But getting these will help me save space on my phone, right, to just eliminate.
That's not the real benefit for taking off apps that you don't use.
Oh.
The real benefit is
More
that
space.
there's fewer things to pick from, which means the probability of hitting the right thing is increased.
Okay.
Or to put it another way,
More space on the computer.
I used to have a boss who would come through and walk past my desk, and he'd say, you're not very busy. And I'd say, yes, I am. He says, well, I don't see any project papers on your desk. And I'd say, that's because I only put the project I'm working on my desk. This is a regular desk, sitting at it. Everything else is kept in the file. And when I'm finished doing that, or let's say I'm finished working for that period of time on that, I fold it up and I put it in the file, and then I bring out the next one. And he said, well, why don't you just have them all spread out on your desk? I said, because then when I want to find the file, I've got to rummage through everything that's on the desk. Okay, and he thought I was a very strange person. And I explained, I just have limited brain power.
Thank you, Bill.
You
No,
know,
it's a
I have,
different way
it's,
of
it's,
thinking.
it's tough for me to maintain focus sometimes.
People organize the world.
Okay.
And that's what
The
I do,
digital
I like to
equivalent,
organize. I'm sorry.
what the digital equivalent is? Okay. You're retired, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's say you were back in the workplace. Okay. And your boss says, oh, I need to have this contract out by such and such. Would you have the word processor and Facebook and your Game of Thrones video all playing at the same time while you're working on the contract? Because you'd be able to focus on the... Okay.
Thank you, that helps.
Okay. You're laughing at me. Okay. Anybody else going once, twice?
Yes, you said that this is fast and stuff like that. Does it drain the battery like some of the new versions have done faster?
iOS 11 comes out, and iOS whatever comes out. The first thing I see in the thing is, oh, my iPhone, it drains, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And then I know you wait 10 days, and then Apple comes out with release 0.1 of whatever it is.
All right.
And then you're going to say, oh, you know, my mobile device exploded and it killed 20 people in Armenia and blah, blah, blah. And then they come out with, you know, release number 2. So we're up to release number 3. So what I find is once you've gotten that third one out, the power usage that got right, the space that the apps are using get right. On the phones, your data plans aren't getting slammed with it, you know, hauling stuff down every time you turn it on. I mean, to get it all right. But that's why I always tell people, wait a little bit for the other people to put it on their new device and let them find out what wasn't quite right.
Let someone else be the guinea pig.
It's all what I call the failure of fit and finish at Apple today.